Hello, this is Rainbow Rising Freedom. This is the channel of feminine empowerment and the voice of the goddess. I'm here to help you rise, realize, discover your own power and the goddess within so that you can rise from pain and suffering into a beautiful life that you can create for yourself. The recent time and energy is the time of healing of the heart. Your heart is a portal to another level. When wounded, it can be a target for different lower frequency energies, but when you heal it, you become unstoppable. Nothing can break us as much as being around those who didn't nurture us when we needed it as children. It's no one's fault and there's no one to blame. It's just being passed on from generation to generation. The emotional negligence, not being seen, and not knowing how to nurture own children. Because oftentimes parents weren't nurtured themselves, so they don't know how to give someone something that they weren't given themselves. It's really easy to figure it out in our heads, but the heart and the emotional body is a very different story, right? So it's very courageous, and I personally think it's the bravest thing in the world to actually face our demons from our childhood and heal it. I think that something gets healed when it's being faced, potentially discussed, talked about, released through words and emotions. Things have to come out so that we become free of it. Once we release it, we can shift to another level vibrationally. Even when we're in the same location geographically, maybe physically things haven't really changed, different people gravitate towards us. Suddenly, energetic doors are unlocked just because we vibrate higher. I realized that past 2 weeks I've been dissolving blocks that were created in my childhood. These are blocks to my essence, to my purpose, to what I've always longed to do in my heart, but I couldn't make it happen. There were very strong, dense blockages, and they were created when I was a few years old, when I was criticized for my creative endeavors, when I wasn't invited or heard or seen with what I wanted to put out to the world. And no matter how hard I tried later to embark on that creative journey, I just couldn't make it fully happen. I was surrounding myself with different kind of tools that I knew were the tools that I needed, but I was always pulled in different directions that were distracting me, that were keeping me away from my purpose. I feel a very important integration at the moment for some of us, because we dare to dive into the deepest pain of our hearts. If you feel like you've taken many steps back recently, you haven't. You're actually moving forward because you dared to embark on another level of healing. Many people just escape physically, go to the other part of the world and carry the pain inside of them that keeps them stuck. They might have regret and pain and hate even for those they left behind, in hope that they will be able to escape their own pain, but the pain is carried within, the blockages get carried within. So how do we dissolve them? I know everybody has a different path, but at some point you might have discovered being called to some sort of spiritual practice, be it a religious practice, meditation, or any kind of work with the unseen. I personally tested on myself all the religions, and I couldn't comprehend why all of them work, even though I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it, but energetically it was dissolving and freeing me. I realized that every single religion has something to do with energy work. No matter what beliefs they place in our heads, there is a foundation of energy cleanse in it. I started practicing energetic NLP with Art Geyser, which I highly recommend. It's a beautiful, beautiful practice that sets us free from our own cages, from cages of limiting beliefs, so that we can live our purpose and be happy here, now. I just did one of the sessions. It was called Turbocharging, and I just happened to take something out of my bag. It's a leaflet about one of the passions that I was actually trying to pursue when I was a few years old. I was still in the primary school, I remember, and I used to draw, and I remember my parents took me to that class because I was actually asking to be taken there, and the teacher in Poland at that time, teachers were usually really grumpy, unfriendly, and they used to take out their frustrations on their students. So it was really stressful for someone so empathetic to be around people who weren't actually trying to help me unlock my passions. They were just punishing me for wanting to embark on that path. At least this is how it felt. I realized that they probably weren't doing it consciously, but they definitely created blockages, okay? I'm currently holding that leaflet with an invitation to a creative practice that took me in my memory specifically into that event, into that workshop, into that class with that teacher when I was a few years old. And I know that his behavior, his attitude completely blocked me, and I just could not attend the class anymore because I was just like the feminine lineage, my family lineage. I was very sensitive in my heart, and the atmosphere of the practice was as important as the practice itself. So that blocked me. I didn't do that anymore, and I realized that what I'm doing now, I'm actually dissolving blocks to my essence, to what I've always been, who I've always been. I just wasn't nurtured, I wasn't encouraged, and I wasn't shown the way. The way I actually didn't need to be shown, I just needed not to be blocked. So at that time, when I was growing up, it was definitely something that wasn't part of the collective consciousness. Teachers, guardians, leaders did not know how to emotionally help, support, and nurture children. So we're actually doing the work for all these generations who were emotionally unaware and maybe blocked themselves, maybe they weren't nurtured themselves. So I'm just trying to congratulate you here if you're still watching this, and if you can resonate with that. I'm sure you are doing profound emotional clearing right now. I even hear integration. We're integrating all these bits of ourselves that were scattered by trauma, by pain, by lack of encouragement. We're healing that fear, we're facing it, we're stepping into that purpose step by step. We don't have to throw ourselves out there, but we're stepping slowly into that, and that creates an integration of our heart. Forgiveness, our familial forgiveness, plays a huge role in this process. It sets us free from energetic patterns that might have felt like curses, constant repetition of certain situations in our lives, and not only ours, maybe other family members too. We can be free from that when we heal. And it's so very much underestimated in our society to take time out to heal. It's considered a waste of time because we're not productive, we don't earn money, we don't do things that are appreciated by society, maybe we don't have children, or we don't build. But we build ourselves, and without it, everything else that we would have built would collapse at some point. So what I feel is that by healing, we're creating very strong foundation within ourselves, and we become unstoppable and unshakable. And from that point onward, we can create, I even hear bend reality. So we can bend our preferred, I just saw 11:11. We can bend the highest, most favorable timeline into wherever we are in this world. That's what I want to share for today. I will definitely have more. Maybe I'll do the reading too. It feels like we're dissolving one layer after another to be closer and closer to our own essence, to who we authentically are. And it just feels like coming home to yourself. Some of us have more blockages than the other. Sometimes older souls have a longer path and more twisted. But your path is your path, and have love and respect for yourself for daring to walk it, because it's very fierce and courageous of you.